Welcome back to the Women's Basketball Summit, the online platform for players, coaches, and parents. Today, I'm super excited to have my good friend back. Kristin Karat spoke for the last summit, and we're fortunate to have her back. She is the head women's basketball coach at Cedar Crest College. So, Kristin, welcome to the call.
Thank you. Excited to be back.
So, for everyone that missed your interview last Women's Basketball Summit, let's talk about you. Let's start with how you were an athlete, and then we'll kind of transition to how you became a coach.
Yeah, so I played Division III college basketball. Was lucky enough to play in an NCAA tournament and win a conference championship, which was awesome. Once you get to the NCAA tournament as a Division III player, it seems real. And then from I played 5 years. I ended up getting injured and playing a fifth year. Through that experience, especially into the spring, is when I got into strength and conditioning. So I was an exercise science major. Thought that was the route that I wanted to go into, and I was lucky enough that my athletic trainer at Becker, where I graduated from, allowed me to do an internship with her, and I became the head strength coach at Becker, kind of still in school and then right out of school. Fell in love with the strength and conditioning side. Ended up moving out to the Midwest, being a strength and conditioning coach out there for a little bit. And that's when I realized I really missed basketball. I missed coaching basketball. Moved back to the East Coast. Unfortunately, my grandparents got sick, and was able to get a job at Tufts with Coach Berube, where I was able to do both. I was able to be an assistant basketball coach for her and kind of work with the strength and conditioning department a little bit. And then from there, I moved to Nichols College, where I was just a basketball coach and strength coach for the women's basketball team. And now I am here at Cedar Crest, being the head coach and assistant athletic director for athletic performance, which is kind of a mouthful, but.
Yeah. What I always love talking to you, and one of the reasons is because, yes, you are a basketball coach, but then you have the strength and conditioning, the sports performance background. So I think it's like the blend of both worlds. I think you understand, yes, like skill practice is so important for these girls, but so is strength and conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, 100%. Yeah. The biggest thing for me is I was rebuilding a basketball program and starting a strength program at Cedar Crest. So it was kind of like, whoa. But it was also awesome because I could put exactly what my philosophy is on strength and conditioning over a total of 9 programs, and also basketball on my basketball program. And I've been fortunate that I have great friends, in the business, and both basketball and strength and conditioning, that I can lean on and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or where can I improve? Or do you think this is good for now when starting a program? And so it's been great so far. I'm pretty happy. The basketball, we got some work to do. But the strength and conditioning stuff has been awesome. I mean, we've had in going into my third year, we've had no, knock on wood, I know all the coaches are gonna kill me now, overuse injuries or any non-contact injuries since we started this program. And that's a testament to the girls, but also I think we are doing, for where we are at the Division III level, we're concentrating on the right things, which has been awesome.
So I know you guys can't start until October 15th. So I know you've been doing more of like the strength and conditioning with the teams. What has your focus been working with the female teams?
This is a cliche topic, but obviously, ACL, prehab, rehab, prevention type of stuff. What that looks like for us is looking at the way that these athletes move, and looking at the way they move in their sport, and trying to line up the exercises that we do, whether it's, stretching, mobility, dynamic warm up, and actual strength movements, and can they move the way that they need to move? And if not, what do we need to do in the weight room or on the field or on the court to make them be able to move more efficiently? So that's kind of where we start. And it starts with, we don't quite FMS all of our athletes or use the functional movement screen. We do an eye test. And so we use some of those concepts, but basically we, myself and my assistant strength coach during their preseason testing, we don't do our typical, squat, bench, that type of stuff. We just have them move, and we watch, we video it, we slow it down, and we say, okay, from this, where do we need to concentrate for the masses? Once again, at Division III, we don't have we don't have the luxury of having them in the weight room 3-4 times a week. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's with different teams. So we kind of do a broad scope, but it's all about the movement quality. And then of course with that ACL prevention stuff. So a lot of glute work, but more so just moving better, moving more efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, I think like all the sports performance coaches on here and obviously the basketball coaches have talked about the importance of getting these females in the weight room. But I feel like no matter how much we talk about it, and I mean, we talk about it on all the summits I put on, I feel like, especially around my area in Boston, I'm going to tell you more than half of these females have no experience for strength training. So I always think it's worth talking about. Do you find that when most of your freshmen coming in, for whatever sport you work with, they have strength training experience, or are you starting from ground zero?
Yeah, luckily we're in the transition where we are getting a different type of athlete that has seen a weight room before. But for the most part, no. And the biggest thing is getting that buy-in, that initial buy-in, because what they see is all the cool stuff we see on Instagram, right? They see the tire flips, they see this, they see that, and they come in and they go, I can't do that. Or does this work for me? Or they'll see, the football team squatting 600 pounds and everyone jumping around, and then, and some of my female athletes are like, Coach, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, same. I don't want you to do that either. It's a different side. So they start to buy in a little bit more. I think what we do a great job of, both with my sport coaches and with my assistant strength coach, is we make it fun, and we tell them the whys all the time. Like, why are we doing this? This is why. Why are we doing it this way? Well, Coach, I saw my friend at this school does this way. Cool, that's awesome. But let me tell you why we're doing it this way here. So it's the constant whys, and then eventually they buy in. They buy in more when I can show them, well, your playing time has increased. Your performance on the field has increased. How's that back feeling today? How are those knees feeling? How are those hip flexors feeling? The kind of go-to injuries, overuse injuries that we see, especially in basketball. And then I'm also for the strength coach for field hockey and soccer currently. Those are the overuse injuries we see, and I can bring that back out to them. And they, they're like, oh yeah, Coach, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better. And it's very cool. Our soccer team just went on a road trip, and they played up at Madai. And I went into the weight room to work out myself, and all my foam rollers were gone. And I was like, look at those kids bringing those with them. So it's just that buy-in in them. Once they see their results and how it's helping them improve on the field or on the court, the buy-in is there. So
we mentioned that you guys do not start practice until October 15th. So what is your main focus? Like, are you allowed to work with your team, like in the weight room? Are they allowed to have any type of practicing? So for everyone that isn't like just familiar with kind of like how Division III works, can you talk about that?
Yeah. So they would not be able to have any contact, or I would not be able to have any contact with them in the weight room or on the basketball court if I wasn't the head strength coach. I'm lucky that I get to do that. Where the line gets blurred a little bit is I don't do as much on the court conditioning as I would like to as both a strength coach and a basketball coach, because I blur that line a little bit, and I don't want to mess with any NCAA rules. So even though it is okay, I try to avoid that at all costs. So what we can't do anything until October 15th. So main thing that I'm focusing right now is, once again, that early movement quality, building off hopefully the summer workout that they did, and getting them just in shape, getting them ready for the rigors of the season. One thing that I've noticed in Division III is they don't really do anything on their own that gets them prepared for now the 2.5, 3 hour early season practices. And that's when we get the shin splints. That's when we get, that my knees hurt, my hip flexors hurt, this hurts. So we try to get them to be conditioning and strengthening and really getting that mobility quality down in these first couple of weeks before October 15th hits.
Nice. On their own, the girls are allowed to kind of play pickup and play basketball that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's always nice when I hear a ball bouncing in the gym. But yeah, they are 100% allowed to, and I ideally would love to hear that they play 3 to 4 days a week. But once again, I can't mandate that, and I can't even ask them. If they come in and say, "Hey, coach, we're playing today at 4," I'm like, "All right, cool, that's awesome." But I can't say you guys are playing 3 days a week at this time, unfortunately. But we've got a great group right now who do get in there. And then obviously the 2 days a week that they lift right now in the preseason is helping. So
Nice. I think that's important for like all the players, parents that are listening to listen to like a Division III coach. We have a couple Division III coaches on. We have Division I coaches on to kind of, you're learning the differences between like Division I, Division II, Division III. So when their athletes or their players' daughters are looking on where they want to play, I think like the biggest difference is if you want to play D1, like you're never going to have a break. You're going to have a very small break. If you want to have a nice balance, get a great education, play some great basketball, and then it's always to keep your eyes open to Division II and Division III. And I just don't think sometimes the parents or the players or even the coaches do a good job kind of educating these kids on what the differences are and what's the pros and cons.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I run into all the time. I'm trying at this point. We're finally getting to the space where we're recruiting a different kind of athlete. And lately is the first time I've had those conversations with, well, coach, I want to go Division II, or well, coach, I want to go Division I. I'm like, okay, why? And the parents, the first thing is, well, scholarship money. And I said, well, we have academic scholarship money too. And kind of the buzzword that I use to the parents, I said, well, if you're looking at a Division II school, most of them aren't fully funded. And what I mean by that is not every kid on that team is getting a full ride. So in some way, shape, or form, it's a combination of money, whether academic, merit, financial aid, whatever the case may be. So you can get a $22,000 scholarship from us for academics. At the end of the day, when you're writing that check, it doesn't say academic or athletic. It's just the amount of scholarship that you are getting. And so I try to explain that a little bit. And I also try to explain like the freedom to do other things, to be in, a complete student athlete. And my kids have gone to Niagara Falls for a weekend. We have this awesome program at Cedar Crest where it's a fully funded sophomore expedition over spring break, where the only cost to them is their passport, and it's a 6-day, 7-night. They're going. The sophomores this year are going to Greece, and it's fully paid for. That's not something that you get at every school. So I try to explain that, and then I also explain too the quality of the education. Depending on what you want to study, make sure we're looking at that, what that piece of paper means when you get out. And do you want to play at a Division III school where you can be a stud, where you can be a star? For me, it's all about changing the program right now and writing a different conversation. And that's what I say. That's what I say. You can go to a program that might be a little bit better than ours, but you're going to be 18-11 or whatever for your entire career. Here, we've got a great opportunity because we're building. Yes, we can be 3-20 or whatever we were last year, but next year we can be 8 in this, 10 in this. Next thing you know, you're putting banners up and you've changed the face of a program. So I think like when the kids look at Division I, II, or III, it's what do they want to get out of their experience? Do they want to join a club? Do they want to go study abroad? Do they want to do these things? Do they want to be able to get extra help tutoring, this and that, and maybe miss practice, which at our level we absolutely do. That's what you're here for. And do they want to make an impact on that team? And those are all the questions that student athlete needs to answer for themselves, is what do they want to get out of their experience? And I do think that some people don't look to Division III as much as they should, because they, all the glitz and glamour of Division II and Division I, and sometimes that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I had Billy Chambers. She's on the Summit. She's the head coach at Iona, but she was also my teammate at Hofstra. And one of the first things when we opened the call is she said, she probably reached when she went to Hofstra to play because she really didn't get a lot of playing time. She sat on the bench a lot, and she had to change her role from understanding she wasn't going to play to be more supportive and a coach. But a lot of players don't think that. But it was just interesting she said that, because again, kind of what you're saying and what I try to get across to all the athletes, Division I is hard. I'm not saying D2 and D3 is not, but I think people need to understand there is a considerable difference, and I just hope people have their eyes wide open to educate themselves So I'm glad you kind of added all those points that you did. So now preseason is almost upon us. We probably got a little bit of a month. What is your expectations for this season with your team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm reaching for the stars here or not, but we're definitely looking to have, pretty close to a 500 season, which for some of them listening and be like, whoa, that's a reach. And yeah, for where our program started, we didn't win a game before I got here. I think we left a few wins on the table last year, and once again we had key injuries. One of my best players, and we're hoping to be one of our best players, tore ACL before she even got to me. So she was a freshman coming in, and obviously my recruiting class last year was huge, and we lost a couple of big pieces through injury. This year, knock on wood, once again, we're pretty healthy. We got a good number for us. I went from 4 to 6 to 14 this year. So we're looking to definitely, make an impact in the CSAC. Our conference realigned a little bit this year, which we're excited about. And we're looking forward to our trip to Maine. We're going to go up and see Bowdoin. A little bit familiar with them, and we're just looking to start to write the chapter that we want. And I'm excited. I tell my kids this all the time when they walk through. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to just get on the floor and be able to coach basketball this year, which is what I've done a lot of teaching skill work stuff, but it's going to be nice now that we've got the same kids. I mean, the core of our team are going to be juniors. And it's going to be nice to coach basketball and really dive into what we can do and how special we can be as a team.
Nice. And as we wrap up this call, for all like the coaches, the players, and even the parents listening, like you're an athlete, strength and conditioning, sports performance. You coached at, a very high D3 school at Tufts. I know you do camp with some of the UConn or former UConn players, and now you're building a program. So you have a pretty wide resume of like coaching, playing. What would be your advice to coaches and players listening?
Just, depending on where you are at, or even if you're just starting, is be ready to change your philosophy, the way you do things, just based on the teams that you have. Bring passion, bring energy every single day, no matter what the circumstance, and that tends to follow. That's one thing that I've definitely learned is whatever I am thinking or feeling, my kids take that from me. And that's good, that's bad, that's ugly, that's awesome. They feed off of my energy, and I think that's one thing that young coaches, and I made this mistake my first year. I wanted to do things a certain way because it's what I learned. It's what I tried to mold from. Like you said, I was at a great program and learned from a great coach in Coach Berube, obviously, being a little bit connected to the UConn players, you can have that, mold in your mind as well. And I had to take the things that I loved and fit them to my kids, and not necessarily make my kids fit what I wanted. And that's the biggest takeaway. And going into my third year, I think we have a good grasp on that. But that would just be my advice is be ready to change and to mold, and don't lose your principles, but be able to change and mold and really see if what you're doing is working, why isn't it working, and how can you change it.
Nice. That's great advice. So for everyone listening, I'm looking forward to watching you this season and continue to grow. Where can they find more about your team, social media, website?
Yeah, if you go to Cedarcrest athletics.edu, you can find our schedule on there. I believe it's up now. We just added a couple games, so it might be up now. But my Instagram handle is @Coach Karat, and then our Instagram handle for our team is Cedarcrest WB for ball instead of B-ball. But yeah, I mean, I try to stay pretty active on those social media sites. I know it's great with recruiting, but the kids love it too. So
yeah, no, there's a few of you that are on this call that part of the reason, number one, I wanted you back because I think I love you're a well-rounded like coach in sports, but I love what you do on social media. I love what Trinity College does. I love what Iona does. And that was part of the reason. I think it's great because obviously it's a recruiting tool now, but I can guarantee you the players love it. So I'm a big fan. So Kristin, it was great talking to you, and hopefully you and I will meet in person soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Sounds good.